Before the wedding, Emily asked me if she could have a month to try and get back with her ex-boyfriend. If she was successful, it would prove that her first love was her destiny. If not, she'd come back and marry me, and promise never to think of him again. I didn't argue with her and replied sincerely, "Go ahead, give it a shot. After all, isn't life about not having regrets?" She drove off excitedly that night. I packed my things and called my parents. "Mom, I'm not getting married anymore. I'm coming home to help with the family business." I could feel the excitement from my mom through the phone. "You finally came to your senses. Your dad and I have always said that girlfriend of yours wasn't the right one. How many years have you two been together without settling down? We'll start making arrangements for you. Just in time, we need help with the accounts at the family art studio." I didn't say much, just agreed. Being away from her seemed like a good thing. Looking at the wedding favors scattered on the floor, I just felt amused with myself. I spent 7 years with Emily, supporting her through her startup and those tough years. I thought we finally reached the finish line, but it turned out to be a pipe dream. Back when we graduated, teachers and classmates thought Emily and I would be holding our diplomas in one hand and marriage certificates in the other. I even wore a wedding dress to our graduation ceremony. While others wished for success and high salaries, I defiantly refused the path my parents laid out for me and chose Emily. I only wished to marry her and be together forever. Over the years, all my buddies got married, some even remarried. I was still waiting for Emily, waiting for her to be ready, waiting for her to say she wanted to get married. I didn't expect we'd be in limbo for 7 years. At every reunion, the topic of when my wedding would be became a regular topic. Friends would always help cover for me, saying I enjoyed love too much to settle down into marriage. But only I knew that wasn't the truth. I wanted to settle down more than anyone, to marry Emily sooner. But Emily was always waiting for someone else. Her first love, Eric. 3 months ago, Eric returned to the country. Emily didn't say much. She was actually more actively preparing for our wedding. She tried on wedding dresses with me, patiently from morning till night. We went for tastings at different hotels, one after another, and she never showed impatience. She even suddenly got interested in picking wedding favors. Such a minor thing. I thought she was trying to reassure me that she had finally let go of Eric. Until one night, I woke up to find her reverently taking out Eric's belongings from the bookshelf, holding them as if they were treasures. I stood in the doorway the whole time she sat in the study. That's when it hit me. No wonder things dragged on so long with Emily and me. Our marriage wasn't just between us. It depended on whether Eric still wanted Emily. I was merely an extra in this scenario. There's this saying, what we can't have in our youth will haunt us our whole life. If that's true for objects, imagine someone you loved deeply. The wedding was getting closer, and the to-do list was growing. The wedding favors, delivered just that afternoon, were poorly packaged. With no luck negotiating with the vendor, I took them home to package myself. I had worked on them so late that everything felt blurry when I realized it was already midnight. Emily wasn't back yet. She had been invited to an out-of-town event, with her flight landing at 11 p.m. Just as I was about to text her, I heard the door open. She came in carrying stuff, habitually kissing my cheek as she entered. Besides the gifts, she also had a bouquet. "Harry, thank you for being by my side all these years." I knew why she said that. Back when we graduated, she wanted to start her own business. No one believed she could succeed except me. I went against my parents, used the money they saved for me, sold all my shops and properties, and funded her startup. Turned out my choice was right. Emily's company is now a top player in the industry, thriving and successful. Emily always had a self-plan. Now that she has everything, of course, she wants to resolve past regrets. So when she set the gifts down, looked at me, and earnestly said she wanted a month to try and win Eric back, I wasn't surprised. "Harry, I don't want regrets. You don't want me thinking about someone else after we're married, right? I promise if it doesn't work out, I'll let Eric go completely. I'll stay with you forever." Speaking so sincerely, I even saw Emily's eyes redden. I found myself unable to refuse. I felt like the villain breaking up a love story. When we started dating, She already told me her heart still held Eric. If I couldn't accept that, I shouldn't be with her. Back then, I recklessly agreed. I thought she just needed time to move on from her past relationship. I never imagined it'd come to this. All right, go for it. I replied to Emily with the same earnestness. After all, isn't life supposed to be without regrets? She didn't even double-check that I agreed. Grateful I understood her as always, she packed up, excitedly driving off. I looked at the wedding favors everywhere, elegantly packaged, each one I had just wrapped by hand. Too bad they won't be given out. I picked up the bouquet on the floor, noticing the card on it. Eric, long time no see, hope you're well. The card caught me off guard with Eric's name. Emily must have bought 2 bouquets. One for me, one for him, and she got them mixed up. I don't mind. I just wonder if she'll feel awkward seeing Eric with the wrong bouquet. I tossed the flowers in the trash. Saw that Mom already booked my flight out. Mom texted that the flight is in a week. You've been in City A for so many years. Might as well take this chance to say goodbye properly. With Emily gone for a few days, I took a good look around City A, had meals with friends, and said my goodbyes to the city. Emily kept checking in every day over the phone. Harry, what are you up to? I miss you. Not up to much, just packing at home, I honestly replied. She didn't dig deeper, just rambled about where she was and what she was doing. Emily mentioned she was about to meet Eric and was really nervous. Over the years, sharing became a habit for both of us, especially during her business trips when we'd always say how much we missed each other. Now, even as she's meeting Eric, she still calls to update. Habits can be a scary thing. I went silent for a moment. Are you mad? Why aren't you talking? No, I wish you well, I managed to say, not sure how those words escaped my lips. Emily also went quiet. After a while, she said she'd be back soon. No matter the outcome, I still love you. I believe her words before hanging up, but they don't mean much now. Because this time, I'm ready to let go. 3 days later, Emily returned. I didn't expect her back so soon, and next to her was Eric. I remember the first time I met Eric, I was actually full of envy. He was the kind of bad boy who flaunts it, handsome and flamboyant. He had this aura that a guy brought up under strict rules by his parents like me didn't have. He wore sunglasses and had a tattoo on his neck. Harry, long time no see. Oddly, compared to my memory of him, Eric now seemed more worn out. Eric politely tested the waters, asking if he could come in. I was a bit surprised. He's changed a lot over the years. Eric accidentally knocked over a decorative teddy bear with a red bow as he came in. Oh, I forgot to congratulate you. Wishing you and Emily a happy marriage, he said, handing the bear back to me. I didn't say much, just nodded. Eric made a round through the house, which looked particularly empty. Over the past few days, I'd sent most of my stuff back to my parents. What's left belonged to Emily and shared items. Emily noticed the emptiness in the house. Harry, why is it so empty here? Just decluttering, had too much stuff to sort out. I brushed it off with an excuse. Once we were seated, Eric took off his sunglasses. That's when I realized why he seemed different. Underneath were bruised eyes and visible scars. As you can see, life's been hard. Turns out, when Eric went overseas, he didn't marry. It was just a fling. He got stuck there, developed severe depression, and couldn't return until he connected with Emily. All these years, Emily's help is the reason I'm not dead, Eric said. When Emily heard this, she visibly tensed. I knew why. They hadn't just gotten in touch recently. They'd been in contact this whole time. Emily would accompany me every year-end for a month. Without her, I wouldn't have survived. So, Emily's month-long business trips every year-end were actually her going to see Eric. When Emily started her business, I heard you gave her your savings for funding. I was struggling then too, and Emily sent me $500,000. No wonder her company had an unexplained $500,000 boost back then. With just a few words, I realized how much Emily had done for Eric. This time coming back home, I owe it all to Emily. Harry, I mean no harm to you. Let's get along, all right? Seemed like a request, but it was moral pressure. Eric's so ill and not asking much, just to get along. If I say no, it would seem heartless. I wasn't sure what he meant by getting along from now on. In the past, I might have gone hysterical. No one would willingly share their relationship with someone else. But now I feel relieved that at least I'm a normal person. Hearing such a bizarre request from them was just amusing. Yeah, let's get along. I know there's no point in dwelling on it, so I agreed. After all, I'll soon leave, no need to get worked up. Eric slept in the master bedroom. Emily and I shared the smaller bedroom. Emily said Eric's condition was severe, and he'd toss and turn at night. The master bedroom was soundproof, so he wouldn't disturb me. I agreed. Before sleeping, Emily hugged me like always, my back against her chest. I could feel her breath on my neck, tickling and warm, but her words felt like knives. Harry, I feel Eric's changed, he's just not the same. Don't you think he's changed, too? But I just can't let him go. I feel guilty towards you, but also can't let him go. You have to believe, the only person I'd marry is you. It's you I love. Maybe she drank too much with Eric before bed. Emily poured her heart out all night. Told me everything, things she should and shouldn't. Just as I was getting drowsy, almost asleep, I suddenly felt the bed empty beside me. Emily was gone. The next morning, I bumped into her coming out of the master bedroom. She explained that she went in to remind Eric to take his medicine. I didn't press further, playing the understanding partner role. While having breakfast, Eric wasn't used to eating Chinese food. Emily quickly ran downstairs to the convenience store to buy a steak. Even though she wasn't much of a cook, she personally cooked the steak and brought it to Eric. Eric joked with me, saying, "Emily takes care of people so well. You must have been very happy all these years, right?" I just smiled and didn't say anything. Even though we've lived together for so long and Emily can't stand the smell of cooking, I'm usually the one who cooks. I didn't even know she could fry a steak. She was so skilled, and the plating was beautiful. She wasn't originally good at cooking. Every year when she came to visit me, she'd fry a steak for me, and over time she got good at it. You know, Emily's great at cooking Western food, right? Eric's tone had a bit of boastfulness, as if he's the one who'd been with Emily all these years. Not me. Emily looked at me, awkwardly apologizing for being too busy, and promised she'd cook for me more in the future. I laughed it off and didn't say much. After breakfast, Emily was eager to take Eric to the hospital for a checkup. When I came out with my suitcase, she looked confused and asked, "Going on a business trip? You didn't mention it." "Yeah, business trip." Emily was in a hurry to leave and didn't ask further. She might have been too concerned with Eric because, normally meticulous, she should have noticed my documents were no longer at home. Almost every trace of me in the house had been erased. "Are you leaving now? My flight doesn't take off for another 3 hours." The reality is, this would probably be the last time I'd see Emily. I had imagined before what life would be like without Emily, what leaving her would look like. I never thought it would just be an ordinary morning when I planned to leave, nor did I think it would feel so calm. Yeah, leaving now. Emily was at the door supporting Eric, who had been complaining of discomfort. She saw me struggling a bit with my suitcase and wanted to help but stayed put because Eric beside her couldn't be left on his own. "Let me give you a ride." "No need, it's out of your way and I can just grab a cab." Emily let out a sigh of relief. She mindlessly took Eric downstairs. As she turned, I said to her, "Emily, goodbye." She walked fast, probably didn't even hear my farewell. At the airport, I got a message from Emily about Eric's medical report. She said Eric's condition was bad. Not only did he have severe mental health issues, but he also had a serious infectious disease. She couldn't accept him like that. She planned to give up. "Harry, our wedding will happen as planned. Have you booked your parents' tickets?" I sent her a screenshot of my outbound flight. "I've waited for you for so many years. I'm tired of waiting. Emily, let's break up." The next moment, her call came through. "Boarding is now open for the flight to our destination. Please proceed to Gate 5, the airport announcement called out. Emily's last message read, "Harry, do you dare leave me? Why wouldn't I dare? Emily, I'm not your backup plan after realizing your first love is ruined. Before, I put up with it because I loved you. But now, I don't love you anymore." I pulled out my SIM card and turned to board the plane without looking back. On the flight, I recalled meeting Eric for the first time. It was at the airport too. The first time I saw him, I knew I could never replace his place in Emily's heart. Eric had that kind of striking, assertive charisma. Honestly, it wasn't just Emily. When I first saw him dressed as a student, even I was drawn to Eric's boldness and confidence. I'd been with Emily for a year when I met Eric. He greeted me with a broad smile, while I was on guard. After all, he was the ex Emily always yearned for. I didn't know if he was there to challenge, flaunt, or tell me I wasn't good enough for Emily. Surprisingly, the first thing he said was, "I'm getting married soon. Don't worry, no hostility towards you. Just curious about her current boyfriend." Eric twisted the ring on his hand as he spoke, smiling even more charmingly when mentioning his wife. I noticed that when he wasn't smiling, his features resembled mine. That's when I realized why Emily asked so much about my name the first time we met, if I had a brother or a sibling named Eric. That's why she often said I looked better when not smiling. Thinking back now, maybe Emily agreed to be with me partly because I resembled Eric. Eric didn't say much else. Seeing my curiosity, he gave me a brief rundown of their story. Emily dropped out for a year to get into college for Eric. Eric said that had I seen Emily back then, I would have stayed far away, not even giving her a second glance because she was a mess. And it was Eric that made Emily this kind of person. Eric claimed that Emily wasn't like this before meeting him. One time leaving a bar, a drunk companion accidentally hurt him. Emily stepped in to protect him. Eric found Emily intriguing, so he pursued her daily, and eventually, they got together. What happened after that? I was eager for more details. Eric shifted his tone, saying that at the time they were just having fun, but Emily took it too seriously. So seriously it scared him. So he ditched her. Eric sighed, and I kinda get why. Maybe he regrets missing out on Emily. But now I'm really happy. Eric's expression softened, and his tone was full of relief. He said, "My wife will take me abroad and give me the best life. And Emily should focus on college. We're not on the same path, but you are, so you're lucky." After we met, I sent a message to Emily to come pick me up. I admit it was partly to show my claim. But later I realized there was no need for that at all. I couldn't really understand the deep connection they had. When they'd see each other, they wouldn't say a word, but their eyes seemed to say a lot. I just didn't know what it was. Emily took my hand and asked why it was so cold. I don't get it. If Emily couldn't let go of Eric, why didn't she say anything back then? It took me until now to understand Emily back then. She was scared of messing up Eric's life. After all, Eric was so happy, being picked up by his wife in $1 million car. Meanwhile, in the dead of winter, I breathed on my hands to warm them up while riding back to school on Emily's little electric bike. She didn't say another word on the way back. That night, after we got back, we went to a little hotel near campus. We completely became each other's. Right before I fell asleep, I heard Emily say she'd always be good to me. I didn't really get their relationship. From my view, Emily had somewhat been held back by Eric. Before she took a break from school, she was the school's top science student. With her grades, there's no way she should have ended up just at Zhang University. She could have done better, but she missed out on those opportunities because of Eric. He even dumped her without hesitation. Yet Emily never blamed Eric and couldn't move on for years. I didn't get it before, but now it makes sense. The reason is simple. Emily was naive. As soon as I stepped off the plane, I felt the intense UV rays here. I hadn't seen sunshine this bright in a while. "Harry, right? I'm from the art studio and I'm Molly. They asked me to pick you up." A girl excitedly approached when she saw me. "Couldn't reach you by phone? Good thing your flight wasn't delayed, or I'd have no idea how to find you." I shook my phone and said I took out my SIM card from home. Cutting all ties back home? So intense. "Did you just break up with a girlfriend?" She joked while grabbing my stuff and leading me out. Sort of, I replied. She chuckled, patting my shoulder. "Don't worry. This place won't disappoint you. We'll get you settled tonight. Let's head to the studio." Molly nodded, leading me to the car. On the way, she filled me in on the studio's current situation. My parents love traveling and collecting art, and sometimes socializing involves exchanging gifts. They used to collect as needed, but then figured they might as well set up a studio themselves. It's opened here because of lower taxes. They told me you have an art background, right? Yeah, but it's been a while since I dabbled in it. For years, being with Emily, I had put all my effort into her career. As I glanced through the art collection Molly handed me, I found myself getting more intrigued. My parents always planned for me to graduate and pursue something I enjoy. Lucky for me, I genuinely enjoy art appraisal. No wonder they sent me here first. Mind if I use your phone? Molly handed her phone over without hesitation. I called my parents to let them know I arrived safely. They were relieved and said I could stay and enjoy as long as I wanted. They'd handle things after the wedding for me. Harry, does Emily know you took off like this? She kept calling and even reached out to the admin at your dad's company. She flew over to find us, but your dad and I turned her away. Mom still doesn't approve of Emily, speaking with disdain. She acts like she'd die without you now. What was she doing before? Good thing you're far away, or you'd have to deal with her. What a nuisance. I stopped trying to defend Emily to my parents. My mom used to say if she really cared, she'd have married you already. I always argued back, but now I see they were right. A change of scenery really affects someone. Although I still think of Emily, this new life keeps me busy. The studio is more complicated than I imagined. While clearing accounts, it's more about re-evaluating the artworks. Some have been collected over the years and need their original purchase prices compared to today's value to see if they've appreciated. A lot of the art needs reassessment and discussion. We must consider its art value, industry trends, and marketability, along with whether it should be included in exhibitions to boost exposure. Since I hadn't dealt with art transactions for a while, I had to quickly learn, attend exhibitions, and mingle at various events. Initially, it was tiring, but soon I found it fascinating, especially when pricing with buyers and negotiating profit margins with sellers. After a month, Molly, who picked me up at the airport, said I had changed. She said when we first met, she thought I was a boring, broken-hearted guy. Turns out, she hadn't realized how lively and charming I was. Maybe people here are easier with their compliments, but being here for a while, I do feel more confident. The sunshine here is plentiful, and being near the sea is exhilarating. I find myself enjoying outdoor activities more than when I was back home. After work every day, I often hang out with my studio buddies at a beach bar for a drink. We feel the sea breeze at sunset and take a stroll on the sand. On weekends, if I'm free, I go for a swim or just lie on the beach to catch some sun. My skin's turned a healthy tan, and I've toned up a bit. Earlier, I lost a bet with my friends and had to dye my hair. So now I've got some highlights in my hair. The sea breeze makes it dry and rough, and it falls naturally. I give off a vibe of freedom and carefreeness. In the evenings, like always, I barbecue with my studio mates by the sea. We chat about the latest art piece we snagged. Suddenly, one of them says someone is looking for me. Harry, I've finally found you. It's Emily. I turn around and squint in the sunset glow. Takes me a moment to recognize her. Maybe it's the travel weariness, or maybe I'm used to the lively smiles around here, but Emily looks especially tired. I finally found you. I've checked flights, searched your parents' companies, asked around everywhere. Yeah, long time no see. I cut her off mid-babble. Gave my friends a heads up that someone from home showed up and I needed to step away for a bit. They tease me, saying I can't leave until I finish my drink. Used to their joking, I raise an eyebrow and am about to chug it when Emily snatches the glass from me. I'll drink it for you, you don't know how to handle booze. Emily barely takes a sip before coughing. Actually, I'm not the one who can't hold her liquor. It's her. I sigh, grab the glass back while she's coughing, and down it. Cheers erupt from my friends. I join in the fun for a bit, before turning back to Emily, who stands awkwardly by. All these years, you didn't know I can actually drink? Emily's voice is low. I didn't really know because you never drank around me. Her words just make me realize how amusing my past self was. Emily quit drinking because of Eric. She said Eric hated drunkards and especially disliked her drinking. So ever since I met Emily, she hasn't touched alcohol. And I was not a big drinker either. But in business, there's always some boozing involved. Whenever we went for negotiations, since Emily couldn't handle it, I took over. Thinking back to those times when I drank so much that colleagues had to drag me back home, she'd always look at me with disdain. Later, whenever I got drunk, I'd sleep in the guest room, making sure to get rid of the booze smell before seeing her. No wonder she didn't know, no wonder she thought I didn't drink. Emily, you really don't know me. I can drink pretty well, actually. Sorry, does that bother you like it did Eric? Emily's face flashes with anger, but she checks herself. Don't bring him up, you're not like him. I am not like Eric. Eric needed Emily to save him. I don't. Eric didn't come with you? I'm not trying to upset her, just genuinely curious. Eric's not doing well. Depression and some infectious disease. If something happens, who gets blamed? What if Emily comes to me, saying she couldn't care for Eric because she came looking for me? I'd look like a real jerk, wouldn't I? Don't mention him. Eric and I have nothing to do with each other. Emily's face is a mix of disgust and contempt. I take 2 steps back, looking at Emily like I'm seeing her for the first time. Never noticed before, but Emily's pretty self-centered. She never truly loved Eric. She just loved herself. Otherwise, before the wedding, she wouldn't have left me to pursue this dream guy of hers. But, turns out her dream guy was a jerk. She couldn't save him. Then comes back to realize maybe she should give me another chance. Emily, you're really lame. I oversaw you before. Thought when you encountered Eric in college, you didn't approach him because you felt unworthy. But no, it was your pride that got hurt, so you pretended to be all magnanimous. Emily interrupts me, anxious to stop me. She gets close, just like during those fights, trying to drag me away and settle things with cold treatment. But I don't let Emily control me anymore. If she's here to find me, to put on this emotional scene, then I'm gonna speak my mind. I use some self-defense I've learned on Emily. A well-placed elbow strike frees me from her grasp. Standing there, Emily looks stunned, like she's meeting me for the first time. Didn't think I'd first use self-defense on you. After a while, she regains her composure. Harry, we've been through years together. My feelings for you haven't changed. I used to love looking into Emily's eyes, because every time I saw my reflection in them, I could convince myself that she cared for me, loved me. But now, looking into her eyes, all I see are lies and my wasted youth. She pulls out a ring, kneels. Harry, let's forget about Eric. Treat it as a pre-wedding hiccup. I'll give you the best life. I don't hear her words after that, because when I see the ring, I suddenly feel drained. Never thought the proposal I waited for so long would happen on a beach overseas at dusk, without flowers, without a beautifully planned setup, wearing a simple shirt and jeans, in such a casual place. As here I get Emily's proposal. If this was the past, I probably would have been thrilled. I mean, it's a proposal. I would have ignored all the bad stuff and happily accepted that ring. But now all I want is to throw that ring, box and all, at Emily's face. So what? Am I supposed to wait all these years for you? Be your backup plan? Just like back then when Eric dumped you and I showed up. Because my family has money, I look a bit like him, and I really liked you, ready to do whatever you wanted. So you agreed to be with me? Did you expect me to always be there, ready to jump back into your arms? Emily, I wish I'd never met you. I held back the urge to throw the ring at her face, turned away, and went back to the party with friends. On the way, I wasn't sure if it was the sea breeze being too salty or sand in my eyes, but my friends were smart enough not to ask too many questions. They handed me a tissue quietly and continued the conversation. Molly came over, gave me a pat, teasing me that when I first arrived, I lied about having a complicated ex-girlfriend. I just gave her a look. She didn't care, said, Harry, I know what your problem is. You need a new relationship to get over the last one. How about considering me? Seeing my face, Molly shrugged. Then she jokingly suggested taking me to the liveliest place around so I could meet more women. I rolled my eyes and declined her ridiculous suggestion. After saying goodbye to everyone, I went back to the studio to work. The studio was unusually quiet, just the sound of me sorting through files. In a daze, when Emily's afternoon look flashed in my mind, I suddenly remembered what she said as I turned to leave. Harry, I'm only gonna try to keep you this once, she said. Don't worry. I won't cling to you or try to see you again. You and Eric are the same. I don't want to face it again. I walked away too quickly, too caught up in my emotions, to think hard about what she meant. It was early morning when I heard the unusual sound of a siren. Molly burst in and dragged me out of the studio. That's when I found out why Emily said what she did. Emily was covered in blood when the police took her away. In the darkness, it seemed like she smiled at me. Harry, it's terrifying. Your ex-girlfriend dared to attack someone with a gun. But strangely, the person she attacked had nothing to do with you. She killed that gem collector from the next state over. He even asked about you and was curious about your name. He said you two had a mutual friend named Eric. Molly is always quick with the news. While she rambled on about what happened that night, my mind went blank. I only caught a few key words. Emily, gun attack, killed someone, and another name. Eric? I blurted out Eric's name before I even thought about it. Molly nodded at me in surprise. Those stones he had were worth a fortune. It would have been easier to trade them in the next state, but when he heard my name, he insisted on coming here. She was probably the one who took Eric and then abused him. Molly didn't get what I meant by that. Later, when I looked into the collector's info and saw a picture, it dawned on me. Even though there was just a blurry silhouette back then, I trust my gut. Emily didn't just come to this country to win me back. She might have been seeking revenge. To avenge Eric and go after the person who mistreated him for years. On the third day, the police called me for questioning. Have you been extorted, blackmailed, or threatened recently? I could only shake my head blankly at their questions. They seriously asked about my safety, repeatedly inquiring if anything unusual happened or if I had enemies. I hadn't been here long. My social circle was mostly coworkers and industry contacts. There wasn't a chance for the things they mentioned. Until they showed me the surveillance footage around my home. They told me over the past week, 2 people had been scoping out my place repeatedly. One of them, this morning, even laced the milk I usually order with a hallucinogen. I was in a rush today, and that's the only reason I avoided it. Staring at the silhouettes on the footage, I repeatedly confirmed, one of them was Emily. The police took me to see Emily. Sitting down and seeing her vacant eyes, I couldn't help but feel a pang of sympathy. You poisoned me? I asked in disbelief. Emily bitterly smiled. Harry, is that how little you think of me? I actually arrived here last week. I found you last week. Do you think I didn't seek you out immediately for no reason? Her questions gave me goosebumps. That man, he hurt Eric. He couldn't take Eric back home, but he found you. I remembered that I did go to the neighboring state for a trade fair before. I had never thought I'd run into him. He knew about you, your connection to me. Emily was handcuffed, trembling. You followed him. Scared he would hurt me? My voice shook too. So that's what you meant, not wanting me to go through what Eric did? Emily didn't answer me anymore. The police took her away, and soon she'd go through the legal process and be deported back home. At the time of leaving, she handed me a letter. It had a photo on it. It was from when we graduated together. I had written my graduation wish there. Harry will marry Emily. A lifetime together. And on the back of the photo, she had written, I owed you this, I hope I've paid it back. Felt like someone had hit my heart with a blunt object. Not exactly heartache, just a lingering discomfort. Emily, this time it's the same, you couldn't hear my goodbye. 3 years later, Emily was released from prison. I had testified back then, and she was sentenced for excessive self-defense, so the term wasn't long. On the day of her release, I went to pick her up. Brought her back to the home we shared for 7 years. I usually hired cleaners to come and take care of it regularly. Other than being a bit old and missing a trace of me, it was the same as before. I prepared some herbs and a fire pit to ward off bad spirits, as was the custom. Told her I helped Eric find a job, and he was doing fine in another city. I handed back the photo she left me. Emily, I hope you can live well. Emily didn't say a word, just stared at the wedding ring on my hand. You got married? As I was about to leave, she finally asked. Yeah, it's a good match. She loves me, and I love her. I instinctively twisted the ring, just as Eric did when he told me he was getting married. I wish you happiness. After a long silence, Emily offered her blessing. If I hadn't suggested going to find Eric, would you? I didn't answer her, because I didn't know. After all, I was just an irrelevant bystander here. All those years just waiting. Emily had the decision in her hands. Emily, I'm actually glad you brought it up. Otherwise, it would have been even harder to end after getting married. I intended for it to end gracefully, but that's reality. Emily didn't say any more. She swallowed her words of wanting me to stay. I wish you happiness. Yeah, I'll be happy.